Hello pipe community, I'm Leo and the channel is Lutrasaurus. And according to the ancient and honorable tradition, I'll show you the pipe. This is a square shank, no name pipe. Rusticated, bent. Is that an apple? I don't know, you tell me. Maybe brandy. It's awesome. Don't know what it is. And in it is the subject of this video. So this, can't see very well, is the plug. This is that plug experiment. This is going to be part one of two parts. This video is going to talk about prepping the tobacco. If you saw my Virginia one, steamed some Virginias and destemmed it, and I talked about the mistakes and stuff that I made, and it's a lot of work. So that was component one. I still had after that to do a second Virginia, 2 Orientals, and Latakia. And though I cut down the process time individually versus the Virginia, it's still a lot of work and time. I don't regret it. But don't think you're gonna, if you're gonna do something on the scale of I did, don't think you're gonna do it in 3 hours. Well, if you do, kudos to you, but it took me more than 3 hours to get this all done. So with the first Virginias, I had steamed them for 20 minutes, and they were way over wet, and that led to complications if you saw that video, and I had to put some effort in to get the moisture level down. So I reduced the steamer time to 10 minutes. And with the Virginias, the shape of the leaf, the length of the leaf, I was able to kind of coil them in the steamer to kind of evenly distribute the steam. Funny how that works. So yeah, sorry. But with the Latakia and the Orientals, I didn't have that option, so they just kind of got lumped in there. So it was less consistent. But hindsight being 2020, now that the plug is done, which I'll show you more of also in the second video, I would have tried steaming them for even less time. 5 to 7 minutes maybe. That I might even, and then if it needed any adjusted in moisture after that, I would use that Everclear and distilled water mixture. As it is, once the plug was done, to get it smokable, the little bit I took off took some drying effort. So when I put the tobacco in the press, I didn't lay it flat. I just kind of semi-layered it, but I didn't actually try to like perfectly lay it flat in there. My thinking was that it would more interlock between the layers, not being perfectly flat. And when I did compress it, I did get it filled to the whole 5 inches and physically kind of pushed it down and clamped it down. Now centering the C-clamp was a bit of a challenge, especially with just one person. So to keep it elevated enough and above the base of the frame, whatever you want to call it, the tubing, I used some sponges, and eventually I got it centered. Took 2 or 3 tries. Now I was trying not to extract too much liquid, seen some where there's different opinions about how much juice or whatever you want to call it you want to pull out. I wasn't going for salty dog. I wasn't trying to make a hockey puck. So I only pressed it about 2 inches in the initial pressing. And there was some liquid coming out. And over the month that it was in the press, I got it down roughly to 2.5 inches. Now the rest of the Virginias, I did destem. And some of the bigger leaves of Latakia I did, and some of the larger leaves of Orientals. But most of the stems for Orientals and Latakia, being an Oriental, were rather small, and so I just left them in. So in the end, it was 2 Virginias, the bright leaf, the orange. I take it back, 3, because this is an extremely rare small batch plug, because I have 1 leaf of Virginia from Herefordville and 1 leaf of Burley from Herefordville in this. I didn't measure out specifics, but based off of the amount I had after processing, and it being originally 4 ounces per leaf. I'm struggling here. I had roughly 2 ounces of Virginia. Each of the Virginias, that's 4 ounces. So 2 ounces of the orange, 2 ounces of the bright in there. About 2 ounces of the Latakia, and about 2 ounces of the Bosma, and about 1 ounce of the Izmir. And then the random 1 leaf of Burley in Virginia from Herefordville. So it can give you a kind of an idea of the ratio. So it's a 40% Virginia, we'll say. But pretty good amount of Latakia in it. But I do taste the Orientals. And it's not overwhelming. The Latakia is not overwhelming at this point. The smell, when I was processing, steaming the tobacco, I wonder what my neighbors were wondering. The Virginia smelled wonderful. And then when we got to the Latakia, that was the last one I did. It smelled like I was doing all kinds of barbecuing in my apartment. Something I'm going to mention in the processing. I wore gloves. I wore food grade gloves, because I remember Clint in his video talking about he didn't smoke while he processed tobacco. He didn't wear gloves because he was absorbing nicotine through his hands. So I wasn't super worried about that, but I just went ahead and wore gloves just to try to keep everything clean. And like I said, this took hours to. After I put it all in, I still had cans, jars left over, and so I had to process that also in a way that I could jar it without it molding. So I had to spray more Everclear on this, the mixture with the distilled water. And it was funny, is like I said, this took hours for me to do. Someone else might have taken less time, but it took me hours. And after a while, I was getting kind of lightheaded, and I'm like, it can't be a nick hit. I'm not smoking it, and I'm not touching it. Yeah, well, I had basically been vaporizing Everclear and distilled water right in front of me for hours, so possibly was inhaling vaporized Everclear? Yeah. Okay, just a note to everyone to think about stuff like that. I never thought of that. I'm a teetotaler. Maybe it was something else. I don't know. I'm not gonna to say definitively that's what it was, but just to know to you all. Yeah. So far this is a nice English. This is my second bowl. I do pick up the Virginias and the Orientals. The Latakia is there, but maybe I smoke too much Latakia. I don't know. It's not too overpowering for me. Your mileage may vary. I definitely get the Orientals. And I'm hoping as the plugs dry and age, I'll get more of the Virginias. I did notice a very sweet hay smell with undertones of the Latakia in there. It's a wonderful smell right out when I cut the plug. So thank you for watching. Have a good day or night, whatever the case may be. And I hope to see you for part 2